Opening program parameters. Player code established. Welcome to the program. A production of themetalrobot.com.
Nobody cares about the robot gimmick. Just start the fucking show already.
Humans are determined assholes. This is the Metal Robot Podcast. Initializing post playback.
Welcome to MRP, the Metal Robot Podcast, a podcast about all things metal and everything in between. We've got a different episode this week for multiple different reasons, the first of which being that this week sucked more than a porn star themed Roomba, but also just me being uncharacteristically lazy this week, which I think given the circumstances, I'm totally okay with. So today, here's what we don't have. We don't have news, we don't have reviews, we're just going to be sitting down and talking about the best power metal bands of all time with Collin Sterling of Thrashers Paradise as suggested by you as well. We continue our talk with Scott Wilson's Demiricous about the hiatus, the drive to return, and what the future holds for the band. I was actually going to talk about that new Decapitated album, but it just seemed way too easy to make fun of cancer culture for 10 minutes, so who knows? If you want to hear more about that, let me know. But all this and more, so let's not waste much more time, and let's get into the show. I'm Tom McKay, and this is the Metal Robot Podcast.
You're listening to MRP, the Metal Robot Podcast.
All right, welcome to the podcast. Tom McKay here of the Metal Robot Podcast, joined by my good buddy Collin Sterling of Thrashers Paradise once again. How you doing?
I am phenomenal, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, and you know why I'm doing fantastic?
Because you're getting laid?
That doesn't compete to today's topic on the podcast. Believe it or not, I'm sure many people are thinking, what could possibly be better? Well, let me tell you what's better. Power
I'm sorry,
metal.
I started off with that.
What's better than anybody getting laid is power metal, I'd say.
More specifically, European power metal. Obviously.
Absolutely. Yes,
Obviously.
absolutely. You can't go wrong with European power metal for sure.
Of course.
And the reason why we're talking about this is because on socials, and even in the last episode of the podcast, I teased a little bit that we were going to talk about the best power metal bands in existence, whether they are active, not active, whether they are new or old. I didn't care. I wanted to know from you, the listener, what the best power metal bands are. And in between the last episode and now, we got quite a few responses. From all the responses, I got a few questions.
Okay, questions.
The big one, of course, is how much do people love Blind Guardian? If the answer is not yes, then you're wrong, because
If you're a fan of power metal, you at least tolerate Blind Guardian.
right.
You can't hate Blind Guardian.
Exactly.
You either,
Like at the bare minimum, Blind Guardian is at least tolerable at the bare minimum. But I was kind of surprised because when I posted the photoshopped photo on socials on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, I used Blind Guardian as an example of like, hey, what are the best power metal bands? Here's an example of a power metal band, right? I figured I was going to at least get one response like I usually do from the example band, but I got like almost everybody that responded said Blind Guardian. Like they gave a list, but Blind Guardian was in that list. I think my favorite response had to be on Facebook, where Chris Whitby of Hellbore responded with the exact comment was, quote, Blind Guardian, Blind Guardian, Blind Guardian, Helloween, oh, and Blind Guardian.
Obviously.
Obviously, yeah, but I was kind of shocked, like, holy shit. And even Lycanthro, which is a power metal band out of Canada, even responded with Blind Guardian as one of the responses. Blind Guardian, thankfully, was not the only response we got. They are a great option, though. Holy shit, Blind Guardian. Oh,
they're up there.
I think they're up there for sure. They're definitely again, they were the first ones that I could think of, mostly because of Hansi Kirsch.
I mean, his voice alone, everyone knows his voice. Like, you're listening to Wizards, you're like, wait, that's the guy from Blind Guardian. What's going on here?
Yeah. Like, holy shit. Like, that, like, Hansi Kirsch is a fucking fantastic vocalist, stands out from the crowd. And just something about him is like, you can't not hate the fact that he's a fantastic vocalist. Like, I know there are people who maybe aren't into like the higher register kind of power metal vocals, but even then people appreciate, holy shit, this guy is a fantastic singer.
Yeah, but besides that, he's a good storyteller, because that's the most important thing in power metal, is to have that storytelling aspect when you're singing.
Exactly. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is actually from Demons and Wizards, which is Fiddler on the Green.
Fiddler on the green, the fiddler on the green.
Beautiful song.
Beautiful song, and
song.
Dark but beautiful story. Like, it's beautifully told. It's kind of a fucked up story when you really like look at the actual story itself, but it's beautifully told. Like, you're invested in it at that point, and you can picture it. You can see everything that's going on.
Yeah, it's truly a amazing song, and Demons and Wizards have 3 great albums, and sadly we won't get a 4th one.
I know, that's sad. Actually, that's a funny thing, because Demons and Wizards was also another response I got.
Really?
To this, yeah. Which, yeah, I agree for sure. And I mean,
3 strong albums is better than none.
Exactly.
To be realistic.
3 out of 3 strong albums. My God. Yeah. And it's a shame we won't get a 4th one. But at that point, we can only blame the other guy. What's his face again? John Shaw for America. Exactly. That's his name. Yes.
America. Yeah.
John Murica.
John America Ice.
John Murica. It's the only response that's there. Actually, funny thing, because it kind of shifting a second up here. We're kind of like going back and forth because
you remember that SpongeBob meme where it's him running to the volcano and back because he's really fast. You remember that episode?
Oh God, SpongeBob? Yeah.
I just thought of it, and it's like, want me to destroy one band? Want me to do it again?
Yeah. I remember that too. It's like, that's the fucking shit. Oh my God. If I had to, I would have that first one be honestly Iced Earth. I'm not a fan of Iced Earth, to be honest. What about you?
Due to the current state of mind in the metal world, okay.
Well, you can be honest. Show. This is a safe space.
I love the album podcast. Horror Show. I think it's a great album, and the song Dracula is phenomenal. Besides that, I haven't listened to anything else of Iced Earth, and I don't think I will because of what happened, but I will always appreciate Horror Show by Iced Earth because it is a good album, and realistically, again, you shouldn't blame the 4 other members of a band for someone else, for one guy being a dick. Like, exactly. And even with that, like John Murica, as we're calling him from this point forward, as far as I'm concerned, he's say what you want about him, but he was like a fantastic guitar player. Yep. Like I hate the fact that he did what he did. Absolutely 100%. But especially with Demons and Wizards, his contribution to the guitar work was so fucking strong. I mean, it's half the reason why Demons and Wizards had 3 strong albums. Yeah. I mean, we saw them live and they were great. Oh, they were fantastic. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And I still remember that concert too. They were opened up by Tyr. I think they were. Yes, Tyr from the Faroe Islands in Denmark. And then Lizzie Borden. Yeah. Remember, we had that conversation because we were trying to figure out if the one guitarist was a guy or a girl, and we couldn't figure it out. We couldn't tell. Yeah, it was so. And that sounds bad, but we could not tell for the life. We were sitting there, like we were like enjoying the music, sure, but we were also just like staring. Yeah, because we were trying to figure it out, and he had a twin on stage too, and it didn't help. Yeah, the twin you knew was a guy. The twin you knew, but the other, it was just like. What? Yeah. It was rocket science. Do you remember what ended up, what clicked in our brains to figure out that it was a guy? I think it was because the vest was so far down. Maybe. And it was so far down we can see the schlong popping out. No. Yeah. Like it just starts like it's like falling out. Like boom. Yeah. Either that or the transition is going really well. No. Congratulations! This will be the last episode of the Metal Robot podcast. Next day, canceled. Actually, recently, me and my dad went to a grocery store. We left, had a really nice person cash us out. Really nice. We leave. He goes, Collin, was that a boy or a girl? The response, of course, is yes. I should have just said yes, but I looked at my dad and I'm like, Dad, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to take a chance and find out.
I don't know. I don't want to guess.
I'm not putting in the effort to find out.
In 2022, it's wrong to guess, but
it honestly is.
Dear listener, if you're offended by this, just please remember that we are two idiots who are talking about metal here. We're just kind of going on tangents at this
That's
point.
the new game show. That's the brand new game show. Guess my gender. SNL, there's your skit for next year.
Brought to you by Dave Chappelle.
We're slapping back prices like Will Smith is. Okay, back to power metal.
Yes, power metal. We kind of got sidetracked for a second there. But power metal, another band. This was one of your suggestions, actually. This was your only suggestion, I believe. Stradivarius. I have never heard Stradivarius' music. Tell me more about that.
How have you never heard of Stradivarius, my dude?
Maybe I've heard them in passing, but I cannot for the life of me picture or hear any of their songs. And Collin is currently losing his mind right now because of it. So
Black Diamond, Destiny, Hunting High and Low, Fantasia. Dude, they are phenomenal. They are one of the best power metal bands you'll ever hear. Half the time, I don't know if their keyboardist is a keyboard player or a guitar player. It is amazing stuff.
Let's start off with a specific song. Do you have a specific song in mind that people should start with?
Hunting High and Low.
Hunting High and Low?
Hunting High and Low. That is the definition song of, oh yeah, that's Stradivarius. That's their hit, but it is so good.
I am hunting high and low, diving from the sky.
Personally, my personal favorite is Fantasia because it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's about the never-ending story movie. It's great. I personally love it. It's off of Element Part 1. But on Spotify, they did a really cool thing. They combined Elements Part 1 and Part 2 and made it one album for Spotify. They even combined the album covers. And I'm telling you, dude, it looks really amazing. And Chico, please stop biting the record player.
Colin's cat makes a return.
Yes, she always does. But Stradivarius, for me, I've never been disappointed with any of the albums they've done. Even the older stuff is amazing. And my dude, the songs that they do where they don't sing are just killer. They are amazing. They are great. You have to listen to Stradivarius.
Well, Stradivarius, I think that is a very popular response from you for sure. I did get that response as well from Chris Whitby. You know, the blind guardian.
Yeah, Chris Whitby knows what's up.
He knows what's up. He knows what's up
with Stradivarius.
Okay, I'm curious. I am curious to ask you this. Did Nightwish come up during that?
No, they never did.
Because technically, if you go to Google, they're a power metal band.
Really?
Technically. Even though everyone knows they're symphonic metal, but they pop up as Google. They're one of the first few options for power metal, and it's like, how?
Yeah. Misclassification does happen a lot on the internet. I still remember back not too long ago where Rammstein's Reise was classified as a pop album on iTunes.
Reise was a pop album.
According to iTunes, yeah.
Even though the second song off the album is Mind Tile, which is about self-mutilation.
Yeah. Apparently, German pop is off the chains.
Well, I mean, Rammstein is probably the German pop demographic.
Yeah.
Speaking of songs, did you ever watch the video I sent you of Electric Callboys Pump It?
I think I have, yeah. This is not too long ago, too. I think I saw that.
I kid you not. I was getting ready for a hockey tournament.
Right.
In Woodstock. I was listening to music off of my TV. Never knew about the band, never knew about the song, and it just popped up. It just played, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the hell? And then I'm watching this video, and I'm like, this is hilarious. It was the first ever video I showed my girlfriend.
Really?
And she looked at me and went, what the hell is this, Collin? Yeah, and she's shaking her head like, yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out what it was.
See, that's true love right there. The fact that you showed her that as the first thing that you showed her, and she's still there, I think that's right.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah, the fact that she's still with me after shaking that video. but they have an even funnier one.
Oh man, send me that afterwards. Send me that after we're done here.
Even as soon as I said that, she's like, "Oh God,
no!" Yeah, send me that after we're done here, man, because I really do want to see that. Tell me if you know more from these guys. I heard like only their most recent album, and not much else from them, maybe in passing. But Helloween. The Face of Confusion.
I've heard the first album, I'm pretty sure, probably a long time ago. My issue is I haven't listened to a lot of Helloween, so I don't have an opinion on this, but they are one of the first ones. So, of course, they have to be in the conversation for greatest power metal band of all time.
I mean, I heard their most recent one because I reviewed it, I believe, on the 10 Second Purge from like 2021. But I remember actually enjoying the album quite a bit. I don't remember hating it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was maybe a bit longer than it needed to be, but I think for like the kind of power metal that we were getting, I think that was kind of intentional, or at least that was warranted.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is HammerFall been mentioned or part of the list?
Oh my God, no.
Really? That
I don't think they were mentioned, but you're so right.
I'll be honest, the fact that it's 2022, they're still doing their stuff and they're still releasing pretty good albums impresses me. Like, I heard the latest one this year. I'm going to pull it up on Spotify because it should be recognized. It should at least have its name said.
Okay.
And I feel bad because I forget it at the moment, the title. But no, I heard it and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Right.
It was Hammer of Dawn.
Yes.
Hammer of Dawn. Amazing.
I did review that album, actually.
As always. And to follow up Dominion, like, dude, it was amazing. It was great. Like, out of the past 4 albums, Our Evolution, Built to Last, Dominion, and Hammer of Dawn, and the fact that the 2016 Built to the Last was the least entertaining one of the 4 is really impressive, because 2019, like, Dominion, to me, like, was amazing. Like, they started off the album with 5 strong songs and ended it with 5 strong songs, or 6. Right. I think there's 12 or 10 songs, but it's a strong album. And Hammer of a Dawn, like, yeah, I might not remember it, but I remember really enjoying it and being really impressed with it. I actually should download it again and listen to it, because there were some songs on there that were really good.
Yeah, no, I remember actually reviewing Hammer of Dawn on the podcast, I believe. And yeah, I think I had the same reaction. Like, this was like a really great epic power metal album. And also, I also could not help but make a joke about the fact that HammerFall has an album called Hammer of Dawn.
Okay, realistically, if the next album isn't Hammers of the Round Table, I'll be disappointed. And it's just, instead of the Knights, it's 7 different hammers.
No, it's got to be Fellowship of the Hammers. It's got to be.
Fellowship of the Hammers, yes.
The 2 hammers.
No. Twilight of the Hammer God.
HammerFall, Order of the Hammers.
Yes. No. HammerFall, Side of Hammer.
HammerFall, okay. Return of the Hammers.
Hammer Strikes Back.
Oh, a new
The Last Hammer.
The Last Hammer. A new hammer.
The Rise of Hammers.
Menace.
Hammer Wars.
Attack of the Hammers.
The Half-Blooded Hammer.
Yeah. The Evil Dead Hammer.
Actually, this is a question before I get into who else was not mentioned. What genre do you think Sabaton falls under?
Power metal.
Power metal?
I believe they are power. I've seen them live. They're amazing. But yeah, they're power metal. They are power metal. Yes, they talk about war, and yes, it could be war metal or whatever, gladiator metal or whatever. But no, it's power metal.
Right.
It's heavier power metal with a little, maybe like the keyboarding's not like maybe out there. Like, it's a lot different, but no, they're power metal. Hands down. Okay,
yeah, because that's what I was thinking. I've heard them classified as heavy metal before.
Yeah, I can see that too, but no, they're power, because for me, power metal is a band that specifically focuses on one subject and expands it and tells stories through that subject. Like the good handful of them are about dragons and wizards and knights.
Yeah.
But then you have Sabaton, which is, yes, different because they're dealing with war and not fantasy. They're a history band. I mean, I love Sabaton so much. Boom.
Yeah, I can see like
flag right above the headboard.
Yeah, for those who are listening to this right now, you can't see it, but yeah, he's got a Sabaton, a Canadian Sabaton flag there, and it's fucking awesome.
They had it for sale at the Toronto show, and it's like, yeah, that's coming home with me.
Hell yeah.
And I still remember that show because HammerFall was the opening band.
Yes.
And still, the greatest deal ever. They were selling flags of the Dominion album for $40, but for $45, you could get it, or you could buy the one that's autographed by the entire band. So I put out the extra $5.
That's pretty fucking cool.
I mean, for $5 extra, yeah, I want the one autographed by the band. I don't want the plain old regular one.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, what you were saying before about, the type of subject matter that power metal usually tackles.
Yeah.
The cheesiest one is Dragon Force, which thank God no one suggested. I know people like Dragon Force and I appreciate like their contribution to power metal in the mainstream. But if I had seen Dragon Force pop up in my in the responses, I would have yeeted my phone into space because it's like, no.
I'll be honest with you. Someone would have gotten bitch slapped.
Someone would have gotten bitch slapped by Lemmy. This would have been.
I'm sorry, but yes, Through Fire and Flames is probably one of the best power metal songs we'll ever hear.
Yes.
It is true. But they're not the greatest power metal band of all time.
No.
Do they have some good songs? Yes, but no. They can't even perform the songs correctly live. What makes you think they're great?
We were talking about Sabaton being power metal as well as Dragon Force. They were not suggested, which Dragon Force, thankfully, Sabaton's kind of surprised by, but there were quite a few bands I was surprised were not suggested. Like, okay, aside from like a couple I kind of figured wouldn't be, like Pure Maze was not suggested. There was like, that's the big one I'm thinking about because they're like progressive power metal. They're really good, but it's like, yeah, I can see why they wouldn't be suggested. But Love Bites. They were not suggested.
Who's Love Bites?
Okay, now I'm getting why they probably weren't suggested. They're a Japanese all female power metal band.
No one knows Japanese metal bands.
Dude, they've been on the rise recently, actually.
Okay, I know they've been on the rise right now, but my dude, like, okay, for me, Gallinarius would be up there because they're an amazing power metal band. They are really good.
They weren't suggested either.
See, Japanese bands, it's word of mouth. You'll never hear them unless you hear it from someone else. Like,
well. To that, I have to slightly rebuttal with X Japan.
See, I didn't know about X Japan until I saw a video saying the top 10 Japanese bands in X Japan. I haven't heard their stuff yet, but
yeah, I saw X Japan actually talked about on Global Metal, which is a documentary from Sam Dunn. Oh, actually, hold up. What genre do you think Angra is in?
Who's that? I'm being dead ass serious too. I don't know who that is.
Oh my god. Moving on. So
okay, yeah, no worries.
Give you the chance. Look them up. I think
send me a song or an album.
Yeah, like they've been around for a while. They've gone through like they've gone through more singers than anybody, I think, but they're really fucking good. Like I can probably pull up. I'll send you a link to it, but I will suggest above all else, look up Omni, the album. The first song that comes to mind from that is Black Widow's Web, featuring Alyssa Whiteglues.
Black Widow's Web. She silently waits for a chance. Once your car, she gets hold of your...
Okay, Black Widow's Web. I'm going to search that right now on Spotify.
Do it. It's a really good song.
I'll download it too. I'll listen to it at work during the weekend.
Yeah, they get because they're kind of
work on the weekend.
Yes, I do have to work on the weekend, Michelle.
Yeah. I only asked because I think that because they were also another one that was suggested, but I've always thought of them as neoclassical. Like I can see the power metal influence there, but I've always thought of like They were neoclassical kind of thing. I remember actually they were so close back in 2018, so fucking close to topping the best of the year list that year.
Really?
Yeah, because they were that good. The only reason they didn't is because fucking Judas Priest came in.
I mean, okay, first off, that album is the album of the year for 2018, not fucking Sleep's album.
Right.
Okay? No.
Right.
No. Okay, no offense to Sleep, but seriously, Judas Priest, a band that's been around for over 50 years now,
I never even ended
banger?
up hearing Sleep's album at the time. So that's why like Judas Priest got so fucking high on the list. I was kind of like, they didn't end up getting to like number one until maybe years later when I did the best of the decade. But for that list, they were number 3. The only reason they were number 3 is because Orphaned Land came out that year as well with their album. And of course, Zeal and Ardor came out. Which is
Zeal and Ardor. Wait, which one was that? Was that the
That was Stranger Fruit, I believe.
Yeah, okay, that was a really good album.
That was so fucking good. I was like, well, I know Judas Priest is like really fucking great, but like Zeal and Ardor fucking killed it that year. I got to say that much. Are there any power metal bands that you think are really good that should have been mentioned here?
Okay, I'm surprised Rhapsody didn't get mentioned.
They never got Rhapsody of Fire. Nothing like that got mentioned.
No, Rhapsody. Not Rhapsody of Fire. Just Rhapsody.
Either way, none of them got mentioned.
Okay, that's surprising.
That is surprising.
Some good old Italian power metal.
Manowar of Steel, of course, didn't get mentioned, which I don't. Do they classify as power metal? Even if they don't, they should have gotten mentioned at least once.
They're comedic power metal. They are comedic power metal.
Either way, they should have gotten mentioned, and the fact that no one did, I'm disappointed.
So
I am so disappointed.
I'll be honest. Because I have a lot of great ideas, which I do.
Okay. Okay.
I jokingly told my girlfriend that this was going to be our song at our wedding one day, and it was. And then I noticed. Then I noticed she was a gargoyle.
Yes. Yes.
I told her jokingly, and she's just like, "What is this?"
No, even better, she's like, I agree.
No, she did not agree. She was just like,
no, can you imagine she did
this?
Can you imagine if she did though? Like, that'd be funny. Oh, actually, there's one band that I forgot to mention here. There's a couple bands actually that were mentioned that I forgot to mention. Most of them are from Chris Whitby again. Because he suggested these 3, which I know at least 2 of them. There's Gamma Ray, there's Primal Fear, and Sonata Arctica.
I've heard of all 3.
Really? I've not heard of Gamma Ray though.
How have you not heard of? They're like one of the first power metal bands that pop up when you type in power metal on Google.
I'm sure I've seen the name somewhere, but I've never heard their music.
I haven't listened to any of them, but Okay, I'm just happy Battle Beast or Beast in Black didn't get mentioned.
Really? I know one of them at least was like considered really good.
I mean, it's hard to tell the difference between the two.
I think I actually made that joke too in like the 10-second perch when they both ended up in the same video.
Both have a female lead singer.
Sure.
Oh no! Wait! No, the one has a guy, but I got thrown off because
no, they sounded exactly the same. I think because I'm pretty sure they both have female singers.
No. The one has a guy. I seen the music video for the one band.
That's an insult to one of the singers, and I can't tell which one because they sound the fucking same.
But no, they're the same.
I'm
surprised Germany's Freedom Call didn't get mentioned. But then again, not many people know of them, but they're really good. Actually, you know who I'm surprised no one has brought up?
What's that?
Powerwolf.
Oh my God, yeah, Powerwolf.
Because they're taking the world by storm.
Yeah, who the fuck did
Michelle even said it right now. They're so good.
Powerwolf. What, dear listener, what is wrong with you?
I mean, to be realistic, I already have it planned that I converted my best friend, Josh, to loving them. He loves them. His girlfriend loves them, and she never even heard of them before him. And when I first met her, she goes, "So when are we going to see Powerwolf?" I'm like, "As soon as they come, I'm buying the tickets." No, I refuse to buy band merch of them.
Yeah.
Because of shipping from Europe.
Yeah.
Plus the currency exchange. So the minute they come here, I'm bringing $200 cash with me. And I swear I'm going to be dressed head to toe Powerwolf stuff.
Yes.
And Michelle will be too.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
We're buying Powerwolf
I will be
when they come to Canada.
I believe I was voluntold for this.
Yeah, no.
I did not agree to such arrangements.
But yeah, no, like when they come to North America, they will be surprised with who goes because they have a demographic here.
Yeah.
And they need to get here ASAP because there's a shit ton of people who I know, who I've met, who are like, dude, I'm just dying to see Powerwolf. Like, I got so pissed off because COVID era, 2020, they were on tour with a monomorph in Latin America. So that gave me hope. Like, holy shit, it is possible. They could come up.
Close.
Right? Like, I don't want to have to pay to go to Germany to see them.
No one does.
If it gets to it, I would. But I'd make a good vacation out of it. I would make a good vacation out of it. Probably with Michelle. That's so excited. And, you know, we'll go travel Germany, hopefully go to Munich, Berlin, maybe see the wall or what's left of the wall. If there's anything of the wall left, we'll get drunk. We'll get drunk. That's for damn sure.
We'll get drunk.
And hopefully, if it works out, it will be during Oktoberfest.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, Michelle's like, you're just making this vacation more of a reality.
Yeah.
Of course. Because who doesn't want to just go to Germany, get drunk, and eat sausage?
Right. Exactly.
Huh? What sausage are you talking about?
The food.
Okay.
Michelle.
Oh, shoot. There's more blues?
The food.
The food. Yeah.
The food. I love the way you had to clarify, like, the food.
Yeah. She can get that one later,
God,
though.
Oh, fuck. I love having you on, man. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
My pleasure. You know I will come on anytime. Like, I was with her last night. You messaged me, and I go, babe. No, I go, my love, Michelle. Tom just texted me. She goes, who? My friend Tom. He wants me to be on his podcast. Can I do it? And she goes, yeah, go ahead, whatever.
This is, I don't know.
I go, it was 6 o'clock. Be okay? She goes, yeah, whatever. I don't care. She was falling asleep. Yeah. I tell her this today, and she's like, what are you talking about?
It's like, are you? It's like,
no idea.
Collin, it's like, Collin, are you drunk again? Are you? Are you just like, what are you talking about? I don't know.
No, she had the blankest face. Like, she was like, it was like I blindsided her with this.
Just raised eyebrow, like, what?
Yeah, she did. No, she gave the straight, like, what is this?
What?
You just telling me now? It's like, I told you last night. And I even...
It's like, huh? What?
She doesn't remember the conversation, but it's all good, you know.
But yeah, no, Collin, once again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Shout out anything that's going on right now to the beautiful, beautiful Metal Robot listeners.
Thrashers Paradise is live, back in studio, starting Tuesday, May 31st on Indie 101.5. You can hear me live, mess up all the time. And if you hear laughing in the background, that's either my dad or my girlfriend. I don't know who yet, but we'll find out. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to tune in because I'm finally going to announce who won my awards from last year because I forgot.
Yeah.
I'll be completely honest. I forgot. And it was one of those years where I listened to everything and was like, yeah, I don't know. I just went with it. It was just like, okay. And no one asked me, hey, who won? It's like, I don't know. You decide. We're going to try and get the YouTube channel back on a roll with actual interviews. I still have an interview I need to upload that I haven't yet that I just completely forgot about. It'll get uploaded eventually. I'm going to start interviewing again. Hopefully. It's just, I need in-person interviews. I will fully admit that I am done with doing interviews over Skype and Zoom for the time because that's all I've done since March of 2020. I need human interaction. I need to touch someone. Like poke them.
Consensually, of course. Consensually. We want to clarify that. He means consensually.
Tom, what other way is there? I'm not going to touch someone and then be like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah, no. Exactly. It's the only. I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. Just make sure that everyone's on the same page.
Yes. Consent is key.
Consent is definitely key in this regard.
Coming from the guy who in high school would continually tell his friends, no means yes, and yes means anal.
And maybe means?
Oh, I forget what maybe means.
Oral.
Oh, yeah, maybe means oral.
As they're saying maybe, metal.
I mean, I've heard some pretty messed up jokes from COVID, and some of them are really messed up. Like, what did Cinderella say when she got to the ball?
What did she say?
Glock, glock. You're the first one that got it immediately.
For those who don't understand that joke, I'll let you ruminate on that for a little bit as we go into the next segment. So, Collin, once again, thank you for coming on the show. Talk about the best power metal bands. To the listener, what do you think are the best power metal bands of all time? Did we mention them in this episode, or did we forget about them? Let me know. Shoot me a message on the socials at The Metal Robot on Facebook and Twitter, at The.MetalRobot on Instagram, or you can shoot me an email, tmckay@themetalrobot.com. That's TMCKAY at themetalrobot.com. Stick around. We'll be right back with Demiricous right here on the Metal Robot Podcast.
15 plus artists, multiple cultures, multiple languages, one almost unpronounceable name.
What the fuck does it say? It's pronounced homoousios. How? There's 20 O's. It's Latin. What'd you expect?
The ultimate collaboration project of 2022.
Homoousios, a symphonic, death, blackened, thrashing, grooving core fest.
What genres?
Metal addicts call it symbiosis between extreme metal and classical music. Cult Metal Flick says cinematic landscapes collide with atmosphere. Tom McKay says it's the reason my veins are filled with caffeine. Wait, what?
I can't help it. I'd rather write awesome metal than sleep. Give me a fucking Ambien, please!
Call to the Demon Sultan is out now on all streaming platforms.
And while you're at it, pick up some cool merch by going to metalrobotreviews.creatorspring.com or check the links in the podcast description.
Stream now. You're listening to MRP, the Metal Robot Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the show. Scott Wilson with Demiricous is back with us to talk about the hiatus, the drive to return to the band, and what the future holds for the band after this new album, Chaotic Lethal, which came out earlier this May. Again, we're not doing news of the week this week. We will bring it back next week. It's just this week I wanted to relax a little bit from that, especially with how fucking this entire week has been. So we're going to skip past that, but hope you will enjoy the rest of this interview. It's a great interview, and hopefully you'll check out that new album, Chaotic Lethal, which came out May 13th. Seriously, do check it out. It's actually really freaking good for a thrash metal album. All right, let's get into it. This is Scott Wilson of Demiricous, Part 2. After these 15 years, obviously you guys got pretty hyped again, especially with the reunion show. Did it feel like it was a refreshing time? Like, okay, we took our time off after all this shit, and now we're back. It's like, holy shit, newfound energy, newfound love for the thrash, love for the music. Did you feel that when you got back into it?
Absolutely. It's pretty fucked up actually too, because it's like, you know, there's a 12-year gap here, but we got down in the basement and it was like, there was like no time went by, you know, and it's like our taste didn't change that much in the last 12 years. You know what I mean? And like, but we have like grown, you know, like, and matured or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm fucking 45 years old at this point, you know what I mean? So, but dude, it was like, it was just like stepping right back into those old shoes, man. It didn't feel forced or stupid or fucking anything. It just felt great. And like I said, I love those dudes, man. They're my best friends. So like, you know, people lately, when we've been doing some interviews, they're always just like, you know, are you hoping for success or some, you know, whatever, you know, it's like, I already feel fucking successful, man. I get to make music in my fucking mid 40s with my best friends. Still, like, who gets to do that? You know?
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Now let's talk about the new album, 3 Chaotic Lethal. It's going to be released by the time this podcast goes up. And when this goes up, what is the one thing that you're hoping the listeners are experiencing with this album after 15 years of waiting for number 3 or wondering if Demiricous would ever come back?
Man, I mean, I don't know what he's.
Sorry, is it too deep of a question? Is that? Well, did I go full blown like Buddha here? Like, does that?
It's kind of a weird question because it's like, I'm so inside it. It's like it's almost impossible for me to imagine what it's like for somebody else to listen to it. You know what I mean?
Even especially when it comes to like, given that we're recording this at least like a week before this goes live. So like the album hasn't even come out yet by the time we're recording this. So it's like trying to like third eye into the future. It's like, what do you think? Please tell me it's not bad.
There's like something that the I'll pinpoint like 1991 and a few of those like years that were surrounding it had, you know what I mean? Like Arise is coming out, you know what I mean? Or like Painkiller is, comes out, or like it's just like a lot of like really good fucking fantastic, just thrashy, fast, mean, fucking gritty ass music coming out around then. And like for me, that's the shit that's still like that's the shit that hit me like a ton of bricks and continues to, that's the shit that I hold on to. So I'm hoping that like when people listen to that, they really get the same feeling that I get when I listen to like Beneath the Remains or whatever, Seasons in the Abyss or name something from that era,
Exactly. Oh god, from that era. Ooh. Kill 'Em All? Maybe?
Yeah. Oh yeah, a little earlier, but yeah.
Sure, yeah, okay, but
80s or whatever, yeah. But
80s start to blend together for me. It's like timelines are weird. So.
They are, and a lot of it has to do with when you're born. Because like, I can have a conversation about metal with somebody who's 2 years older than I am and 2 years younger than I am, and the like perception of what was important is completely fucking different. You know what I mean?
Right. True. Yeah, because when I grew up, like new metal was the big thing, like System of a Down and Slipknot, Evanescence. I'm sorry, I'm showing my age here.
See, to me, it would like that was I don't know, when those things came out, I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't know, like you know what I mean?
It's getting played on fucking MTV and everything, and people were just like, why? And you know what? I don't even though that's what I grew up, that like the era I grew up in, even I'm just like. The 80s and 90s were better. Like what the
to me, they just were, but that's when I was the most impressionable, Yeah. So of course I'm gonna fucking say that, especially as like an old man. I'm gonna say the typical shit. Just
it's like back in my day, this was the shit. It's so much better.
Yeah. It's fucking typical. It sounds typical. I hate saying it, but I mean, what can I do?
Well, it's like no, because like that's the stuff that you grew up with. And that's more like a psychology thing, is like the stuff you grew up with, like what that you were exposed to at like around 13 or so, as you were still like growing up. That's the shit that you resonate with the most. And that's just people in general, which is why like, for you, like the 80s and 90s would have been like the best shit. I mean, for me, I remember fucking Slipknot. I remember System of a Down when that was all happening. Well, no, actually, timelines are weird again. When it's like the late 2000s, early 2010s were happening, is like all that stuff is really like what shaped my musical interest, and it's like just human psychology in general. That's why it's so different between different generations.
Yeah, but it's always interesting, and it also makes me hard. It makes it hard for me to. Not that I want to talk shit, but it makes me like I understand that. So like I never really shit on people for their taste, because a lot of it almost isn't their fault.
No,
you know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? It's okay, because like we got Limp Bizkit, so you know what? Your generation's obviously better.
I'll take that.
It's like we got the raw end of the stick, okay? Like you guys won by a fucking mile.
Yeah, but it kind of goes back to. It kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about the tech shit. You know what I mean? It's like you hear those albums from back then, before all the Pro Tools and all that shit, and you're like, these are like fucking human beings pouring their heart and soul into this. You know what I mean? And you can hear it, you can feel it. At least I can. And I think the answer to that question is, I hope that we've made an album that has like a human connection that you can feel, when you hear it. You know what I mean? And I say this like when something sounds believable, you know, like when like I believe this guy. You know, because I don't know, a lot of stuff sounds plastic or whatever to me these days. But when someone is like trying to drive home, like when you can hear the conviction in their voice or whatever, which I would say Nate did a really, really fucking fantastic job on this album too. So I just, you know, there's a lot of, I hope people can feel kind of the human condition of it inside of it, you know?
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, I think from my experience at least, I think you succeeded in that for sure. You can definitely feel all the instruments involved with it. And again, that goes back to like the music of the 80s and 90s when it was like back then not a lot was recorded digitally. Like it didn't happen digitally until like maybe the late 90s. I'm not entirely sure, but everything was like back then it was on tape. Like it was like recorded on tape. You could edit it, but that would take fucking it was really expensive, and if you tried re-recording over the tape too many times, it would ruin the tape. Like there's so much shit that would just cause so many problems. So the human element, of course, was there. And I think you definitely, captured that with 3, at least in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I don't want to sit here and, because we did use, modern technology to record the thing. It's not like we did it all the tape or whatever, but I hope we captured something that is pretty genuine, I hope we did. I think we did. When I listened to it, it feels that way to me. So
All right, so I do want to pull a quote here from the promo here. So in the promo, you said, quote, "It's been 15 years since we've released a record. We are so unbelievably proud of this one, and this is the Demiricous record we've always wanted to make. Prepare yourselves. It's a fucking monster." Now, my question for that is, do you consider 3 to be Demiricous', I guess, magnum opus? And do you feel this way about the other 2 records as well?
The way I interpret that, or at least the way that I feel about 3 is, and I don't mean to talk shit. This is how things worked. This is how things work in the music industry. Usually you get signed to a nice label. There's a lot of money thrown around. Suddenly you're on a time schedule. That is sort of in your hands, but there's a lot of pressure. So, hiring a producer that you're paying like $25,000 for, you get a month in the studio. It better be done by then. You know what I mean? It's just like, with this one, I feel like we got a performance that's more us than we've ever gotten before. And it's because, it's simply because of the people that we were able to work with and the amount of time that we were able to put into it. So, with post recordings, they're friends of ours. They're in town. They're kind of a smaller label, which I think is fucking perfect for us. I think it's a really good decision for them and for us. But they're, they wanted to get the best product that they could possibly get, and so did we. And they were very patient with us, And then same with 1857 Studios. Wes Heaton was our producer engineer, and he was also very, very patient with us, and and we took our sweet time getting it to, So I think when you read that promo, you gotta write a promo. You gotta say something. But if I was going to interpret it, I would say that we had the time and the means to make this sound like us. This is more who we are than we've ever been on those other 2 albums. So
what would you say?
Raw as fuck. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, what were we saying?
Yeah, and it's raw as fuck, and it's a total beatdown. And I if I didn't feel this way, then it would mean that we did something wrong. But I do feel like it's easily our best album.
What would you say musically has changed between 2 and 3?
Man, that's a good question. I think 3 is more of a cohesive product. I everything ebbs and flows in this way. It sounds like it all belongs together without all sounding alike. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think on 1 and 2, it's like I'm not sure how much variety there is in there, and I'm not sure how much of a cohesive thing we got with those albums. You know what I mean? But I feel like this album feels like a solid entity or whatever. You know what I mean? This thing, all of these songs fit perfectly to make a whole piece. So.
I definitely agree with that one with 3. And with that in mind, I did want to ask about about Faith Crime. The last song of the album, the closing track, is also coincidentally the longest song off this album, running over 9 minutes long. Now, there are usually, I'm going to go into this super quick, but usually with death and thrash albums, longer songs don't always go well because most of the time it's just a product of not knowing when to stop writing. I've experienced that myself. Do you feel that that's what happened here, or no? Was Faith Crime supposed to be a longer song? Was that intentional?
Yes. I think it was half intentional.
Really?
That's a weird way to put it, I guess. I don't.
It's like, well, we wanted to write a longer song, but we were trying to go Dream Theater and go 25 minutes. Somehow we settled on 9.
I think when we were like, okay, song's done or whatever, let's time it out. We were like, 9 fucking minutes. Holy shit. What do we do? You know what I mean? But, and it is, there's like, I don't know. I think that's like, that's one of those things where it's like, all right, we're trying to mix it up. We're trying to make it kind of a roller coaster, but one solid, nice roller coaster. So there's a lot of ebb and flow in there, but then, you've got the magnum opus at the end there, I guess. But, I was worried about it, because I have bought albums, and I like I said, I hesitate to name names, but I have bought albums where I've been like, what the fuck? This song could have been 3 minutes. Why is it 7? You know what I mean? But there's a lot of quick bangers in there. There's a lot of, there's some industrial influences in there. But I don't know. I think we just wanted to close it out with, maybe something a little bit more epic than some of the other tunes that are on there, if that makes sense. Well, so we'll take you on a journey there at the end, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know for me, like whenever I'm reviewing albums, I know for me is like the ending is usually like if for whatever reason an album I'm listening to is like, holy shit, this is dragging on for so fucking long, or it's just like it's really bad, the ending usually saves the album for me. Because it's like, okay, we went through some shit, but holy fuck, we closed on such a high note. And I feel like, that in that case, like Faith Crime is a great closing track at that point.
I'm glad you feel that way. My wife just got
hello.
Yeah, no worries. I'm glad we felt the same way. Obviously, I don't know why, but I think we always thought that was like from the beginning of writing that song, we felt like it was going to be the closer.
Mm-hmm.
I had that one riff at the beginning. It's the kind of like slower, kind of picked out riff at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once everybody kind of heard that, I was just sticking around, or like I had written it, but I didn't have any plans for it or whatever, and I was just playing it at practice. I mean, Dustin's mind was just like, okay, we're going to make this into something. You know what I mean? Okay.
We are going to expand its horizons.
Yeah. And then like a month or two later, suddenly we got this fucking 9-minute song that has to go at the end. You don't put that in the middle.
No, halfway through, let's drag out like the...
Yeah. But it kind of like ends on this fucking static, like this massive static kind of like explosion. Just, we're like you can tell it's just done. Fucking album done. You know, so I don't know. I feel like it worked out.
I think it did too.
Yeah.
So I did go on Twitter at the Metal Robot, and I did ask for questions. I got one. Curtis wants to know poutine or beaver tail.
Poutine or beaver tail?
That was his only question. And
Like
keep in mind, we're both Canadian, so if you don't know what poutine is, our feelings will be hurt.
I know what poutine is. I've never had beaver tail. I think I guess I'd have to go with poutine, but I'm not. I don't think I would eat
poutine by default.
How much I would. I'm not. Yeah, I think I'm not sure how much I would enjoy either one of those.
I mean, in fairness, I don't think I've had beaver tail either. As soon as I saw Curtis's question, I'm like, the fuck is beaver tail?
Yeah, I've never been. I haven't been a huge meat eater, or I'm mostly vegetarian for like most of my life. So those two are kind of off limits, anyways. But I worked at a restaurant that sold poutine, so I know what that involves. You know.
Yeah. Well, unless you get like a really good like vegan gravy, like those do exist. I don't know if they're good though. I've never tried them.
They're not as good. I'll say that. Yeah. My wife does really good though, to be honest.
Yeah.
She makes a lot of vegan treats that are fucking fantastic. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Some husband points there.
Hell yeah. All right. So my last question for you is, and this is a very important question I always ask all my guests, if you could be any cereal box character, who would you be?
Well, there's so many to go. Let's see here.
Everyone always struggles with this question. I don't know why.
I was going to go with Count Chocula just because he's like the most metal one there is, but that's the only one I could think of. I don't, you know, what comes to mind? Lucky Charms or like the bee from Cheerios. You know, bees die if they sting
Tony
somebody.
the Tiger or like the Toucan Sam.
Toucan Sam, the rabbit. He never gets anything that he wants. So I'm gonna go with Count Chocula. You know what I mean, and kind of wrap it into like a Bram Stoker's Dracula serial kind of a thing. You know?
Yeah.
There you go. Tie it into that.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate your time. If you have about, I'll give you a few seconds here. Shout out whatever's going on, whatever's coming up with Demiricous or with you. You have the floor.
Yeah, I doubt this is going to come out in time, but we're opening for Immolation next Monday in Columbus, Ohio. We got on the 21st, we're doing an Indianapolis home show, kind of an album release thing. The 3 Chaotic Lethal comes out on the 13th of May. I would love to shout out to Post Recordings for, like I said, being patient and being beautiful human beings and dealing with us, and Wes Heaton and Cameron over at 1857 Studios for dealing with us. Like I said, being patient and being really good at what you do. And I wanted to say there's a band in town, also good friends of ours. And even if they weren't good friends of ours, take out all the bias. Obscene, they're about to drop an album in May here too, and it's going to be a fucking ripper. They, if you haven't checked them out, there's 2 singles online right now, but I think it comes out. I want to say the 20th or something like that of May, but that shit's dope as fuck. So.
Okay. Well, Scott, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks once again, Scott. That was Scott Wilson of Demiricous right here on the Metal Robot Podcast. Go check out Chaotic Lethal if you have not done so already. Support the bands, get their merch, because, oh my God, if they go on another hiatus, I think fans will scream. Let's wrap things up right here. This is the Metal Robot Podcast.
You just listened to MRP, the Metal Robot Podcast.
Another show in the books, so let me tell you what's coming up in the next episode. Andrew Stromstad, the mastermind behind Box's upcoming avant-garde album, Cherry Blossoms at Night, will be joining us to talk all about that and much, much more. As well, we're going to get into the topic of musicians and social media, why the pressure to stay relevant is so strong nowadays. If you're a musician and you want to talk more about that, by all means, shoot me an email. I'd love to talk to you all about this. In the meantime, thanks for listening to the podcast. You can follow the show on the internet, YouTube, Metal Robot Reviews, Facebook and Twitter at The Metal Robot, Instagram at @The.MetalRobot. You can also check out everything Metal Robot on themetalrobot.com for videos, podcasts, press, and so much more. I'm Tom McKay. If you enjoyed this episode and you want more, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts. I'll see you in the mosh pit next time. Have a good night.